The early boat builders of Pinellas County were an extraordinary collection of hard-working craftsmen who used their talent and ingenuity to pioneer the art of boat building in our coastal community. One such individual was Don Heiser, who worked with Clark Mills, the designer of the Optimist Pram, at Clearwater Marine Ways. He tells his story in his own words.
I'm originally from Ohio. Come down here 60 years ago. When I come out of service, I went into construction work. And so I thought I'd come south, had got slack work in the wintertime because of the snow and that. So I'd come down south because as a distant relation lived down here for a visit. And it was in the wintertime, no snow. Sun was shining and the beach looked beautiful, and so we come back. So I come down here, got a job, worked for a company called Clearwater Boats, which is just behind the post office on Railroad Street there. And I worked there for, a year, not quite. And I run across a fella who was the Sea Scouts, which was a guy by the name of Harry Knapp. He owned Knapp Marine Ways. I started running the yard and worked there, and that's where I met Clark Mills. It was amazing. I thought quite a bit of Harry Knapp. He was a nice fella. He was a real nice fella, hard worker. And Harry had a 35-foot lap straight Chris craft, and he was getting ready to take a trip. At least that was my impression at the time. So I went out to the gas dock and helped him fuel up. And he got all fueled up and got all his stuff on, and he and his wife. And he says, well, you take care and I'll see you later. I said, well, have a good trip, Harry. At the time, I didn't know it, but he was going for good. I turned around to walk off the gas dock and walked down the docks along past some of the boats, and a young gentleman come up to me and he says, are you Don Heiser? And I said, yes, sir. Can I help you? He said, well, I'm Frank Levinson. He says, I'm one of the new owners with Clark Mills. And I says, very confusing, but I was asked him, well, what happens now? Because I said, I didn't know what was going on. Well, they wanted me to run the yard for them. That's how I come to meet Clark Mills. I had heard of him and met him one time before that, but never long discussions or anything. So he finally got settled into our boatyard down there. We had a old-fashioned Quonset hut, World War II, was about 125 foot long, and I think it was 48 foot deep, and about 26 foot high, and all steel. Of course, very pleasant to work in the summertime. But we basically built all our boats in that shed. And Clark and I worked together side by side for 25 years, and then when he had a heart attack and slowed down a little, and then they took over running the yard. I managed the yard for him, and he and I worked together and played together. We had a lot of fun times. We was, I guess, known for the boatyard with the fish fries. Well, it was started out as a couple of the old people from Clearwater. They'd come down and we'd sit down Friday night, tell a few lies, drink a couple of beers, and tell us what run on in the week and what happened about the fishing and so on. Somebody got hungry one night and said, we ought to have some fish, fry some fish. So everything sort of bundled together. After about 2-3 weeks, we ended up with a cast iron skillet and an old blowtorch. We used regular oil for a while, and we finally started buying peanut oil we cook them in. Got real professional about it. Well, it grew into the fact that we finally ended up, we'd invite the crew and their families. So the wives usually come down with the covered dish, coleslaw, baked beans, etc., some dessert. But we furnished the fish, the hush puppies, and some Coke and a couple of beers, and we'd all sit down and have a good time being close friends and work together. It finally grew to nothing. We'd have customers coming too. We'd end up with 50 people, easy. Well, we built quite a few sailboats and some power boats. We built some Alden sloops. In fact, we built 3 of those, almost identical. Then we built the TT, and then we built one for Dr. Fry. And then we built a couple other sailboats, a couple ketches, one yawl, and we built some strip plank boats. We built quite a few of the strip plank boats. I guess it was just a thing that a lot of people took into it and made it fairly easy building in a way compared to conventional planking. Of course, we used all kinds of woods. We used teak, quite a bit of teak for putting in the back, what we call the backbone. It would be the stem and the keel, all the floor timbers and stuff. We used oak for steam bent frames, and we used mahogany for planking and juniper for planking. We did use some cypress, but not that much really. Juniper's sort of a neighbor of the cypress family anyways. It growed readily well here in Florida and along the Gulf Coast and around up into North Carolina. So we got that, and we then fashioned what we needed out of that. We'd plane it, the size, and we had a couple of big table saws and a bandsaw. We had a 36-inch bandsaw we got some of our stuff with, a couple 12-inch. We had sort of minimum in tools, I think, except for hand tools. And a lot of times we manufactured our own hand tools to do the job. But it was fun. We enjoyed it. And Clark was quite a joker all day long. He was had quite a sense of humor. And he was great for being on time. He was ready to go to work wherever we got there, and we worked hard and we played hard. He was a good man. We really enjoyed it. Because the only reason that I know of why the Optimist Pram is not represented in the Olympics is because Clark didn't fly, because they wanted him to fly to Sweden. He says, you come here and do anything you want, but I won't go fly over to Sweden. I don't like to fly. So that's the reason he didn't get that. And he told me that, and I said, Clark, you're silly. You should have flown. No, not me. I'm not going to fly. So he didn't. I enjoyed it so much because it was a challenge every day. Never had to worry about me getting up on the work. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. Like I said, you never made much money, but we had a lot of fun.